They say you can never go home, but I'm in my hometown for the holidays, rediscovering gems, trying new things, and making photos while I'm in Clearwater, Florida. Let's find out what happens. Hometown Chronicles. What's up, you guys, and welcome to this video. Thanks so much for joining me here today. I'm happy to see you as always. So I hope you guys have been enjoying my hometown series. It's been a lot of fun for me putting it together and kind of looking back on my trip home. With that said, while I was home, Walter's Camera Repair lent me the Nikon Action Touch 35mm point and shoot camera. The owner owns this camera and he has been raving about it to me for a couple months now. He thinks it's one of the more underrated point and shoot 35mm cameras, and I said sure, I'll take it with me on my trip. I'll give it a try, why not? This point and shoot camera impressed me. I didn't have high hopes for it. I didn't know anything about it, so there was nowhere to go but up, probably. Well, maybe not. It could have broke down on me, or I could have had troubles loading it. So I want to talk to you guys today about my experience using the Nikon Action Touch 35mm point and shoot camera. Disclaimer, I want to take a moment to just let you guys know that I do not consider myself a gearhead or a technical photographer. I think I'm a very intuitive photographer who really cares more about the images than the gear that I'm using. On this channel, I talk about different cameras that I use because as a photographer, when I'm interested in a camera or I am thinking about buying a camera, I often look it up on the World Wide Web. And sometimes there are cameras that I'm looking for that I don't find lots of information on, or I'll find cameras that have reviews, but they aren't from a user experience perspective. That is what I try to provide here on my channel, a user experience review of said cameras. So if you're looking for a technical breakdown of this Nikon Action Touch, you won't find it here. That is not what I'm going to be providing you with. That's not anything I have an interest in providing you guys with. And keep that in mind for all reviews that I do on this channel. And moving forward, I'll probably keep this kind of a disclaimer in these reviews so that people don't get all up in arms when I'm not telling them the small minutia and the nuances of the cameras. That's not my bag. So yeah, now you know if you didn't. All right, let's jump into this review. Alright, so the Nikon Action Touch hit the market in the late 1980s. It's a water-sealed 35mm point and shoot camera with a fixed 35mm f2.8 lens. I used this camera in a number of different scenarios while I was home. I literally threw it in my bag and just took it with me as long as I had a roll of film available to me. So this camera went to the mechanic with me, it went to the grocery store, it went to the flea market, it went to the beach with me. It was just always on me. If I saw a scene that I wanted to capture, I just whipped it out and took the photo. That is kind of what you get here. I use it more like an everyday carry kind of situation for just popping quick shots. And for that purpose, I really enjoyed it. I didn't have to think about too much with this camera. All I had to do was focus on composing, and it was pretty straightforward. I will say one regret I have about my time with this camera is that I did not use this camera in water. When the owner at Walters lent me the camera, he wasn't sure how waterproof the camera was, so it made me nervous about taking the camera in water because I didn't want to break it and I didn't want to replace it. Two things which I try not to do when I'm borrowing someone else's camera. So although I had the camera at the beach, I didn't get into the water with the camera or try to take underwater shots, which means I'll probably be borrowing this camera again this summer because my summers are when I like to get in the water most. I'll definitely be borrowing this camera again, taking in the water, trying some artistic things with it, and just seeing how well the photos come out because, man, looking back on it now, I really regret not taking it in the water. So I have to rectify this for myself. And if it's decent, then I'll share it with you guys as well to let you know how the results turned out for me. This video is sponsored by Walters Camera Repair. And if you have a camera in need of servicing or repair, make Walters your go-to shop for quality and fair pricing. Website in the description below, and tell them Talya sent you. Let's talk about the basics. I always felt comfortable having this camera with me in any scenario because it is so completely sealed up. It has like this kind of rubber feeling case around it, and this case feels like it could withstand anything. Like I could drop it and my heart wouldn't sink like it does when I drop my iPhone. But I also didn't drop the camera. It has a very good kind of grip on it. It feels better in the hand than the Leica C2 that I have. The Leica C2 is very sleek. There's no real grips on it. This camera has multiple ways of gripping it, and I also would just put the little strap on and kind of walk around with it. So it feels very secure in the hand, and it feels like, I don't want to say bulletproof, you know, I wouldn't want to shoot the camera, but it feels like, you know, it's protected, it's armored up, it's ready for whatever. It feels like that kind of a camera. The camera's a good size, it doesn't fit in the pocket or anything, but it fit in my hand pretty well, and my hand's pretty small, and just walking around carrying it felt comfortable for me, or I would just sling it over my shoulder, and there's no problems there, and it's not a cumbersome type of camera to carry while you're on vacation. Let's talk about ease of use. As with most point and shoot cameras, when you're using this camera, all you have to focus on is really composing. Everything else is pretty much taken care of for you. The camera does come with a flash feature, which I did not use because I do not like flash. Sorry, everyone. But yeah, since that is the case for me, I don't typically use flash when it's available. While the camera is fully automated, you do have the option to choose your focusing distance if you choose to do so. I tried it once or twice, but I really didn't see the point in doing it when it's going to do it for me. Except in this instance with this lady and her dog. I felt like the camera kept wanting to focus on the human. I wanted to have the dog and the woman more in focus in the photo, but the camera decided to put the woman more in focus than the dog, not realizing that the dog had the better outfit on that day. All right, let's talk about image quality. It's okay. It's not bad. It's not the best image quality I've ever seen. I think my Leica C2 produces sharper, more dynamic looking images than this camera, but this camera gets the job done, and I don't feel as if I've been robbed by the image quality of it. I mean, it's a 35. I typically like 35mm focal length, so that was fine. Because the f-stop is a 2.8, I'm able to shoot in lower light situations as well. You're not gonna get Contax point and shoot quality photos with this camera, and you're also not going to pay that much for it either. So there's that. The images are fine. If you're on vacation, you're just trying to capture it, it's perfectly fine. It's passable. No one's going to say, oh man, image quality on that one looks like trash. They're not top of the line. They're not bottom of the barrel. They're just somewhere nice in the middle and easy enough for you to take with you on vacation. Let's talk about the price. This camera's not expensive. I think you can get it for like around $100 to $150. I have even seen it priced lower than that. You won't find this camera everywhere and working though. That is much harder to do. So if you see this camera on the market and you're currently looking for a point and shoot, you better snatch it up while you can because they don't last long on the market. Would I use this camera again? I would use this camera again. If I'm going on a vacation or a quick trip somewhere, I would definitely use this camera again. Like I said, it's easy to use, it's fun. I know I can go in the water with it now, so I definitely want to try to use it again. That little feature right there really shoots it up in my book, knowing I could take it into the water. If you knew me and how much I'm always in water when I go places, you would understand how much this feature really appeals to me. It's easy, fun, fast, and I like that in a camera that I am just taking around with me as I am trying to be present in the moment and also capture the moment. I do feel like this camera flies under the radar. I didn't find a lot of material on it when I was doing a little bit of light research before I came out and gave you guys my 2 cents on it. Highly recommend this camera. I like this camera. It is a solid camera to take with you on trips, to get wet, to not have to worry about destruction. I may or may not be angling to see if I could talk the owner into giving me this camera. Why not? Or at least loaning it to me for the summer. Let's see what Talya's summer looks like on this Nikon Action Touch. All right, you guys, that is all I have to say about the Nikon Action Touch. If you like this video, please make sure to give it a like. If you haven't subscribed to the channel yet, make it happen. And I will see you guys in the next video. All right, everybody. Peace.